Hello and welcome back to Pandemic Playground with Dave. Today we're continuing on surviving Pertam, the Wastelands, and continue to build our mobile base with some new additions. Alright, so some new additions as I was welding up a few of these armor plating here. I added this big piece here, which is not necessarily ideal, but it works okay. So what this is basically the loading area for our rovers in the bottom. So if I were to reverse our hinges like so, and then our pistons to go down, that is gonna be our little platform to get our vehicles or small grid rovers up to the top. It might not be the most ideal thing that I've made, but it seems to be working okay. It's a little taller than I kind of want it to be, but I do feel like I do need 4 block lengths just to fit like the croc or something like that. So I can't even test it yet because I'm not on the ground yet, or the rover's not on the ground yet, but it looks like it's fairly close to the wheelbase or the bottom of the wheels, which is good because it doesn't have to be exact, because it is going to be a suspension. It's going to spring up a little bit anyway, since this thing is probably going to be way heavy anyways. But I think that's long enough for me to put the croc on here and any other rovers, load it to the top, drive it in, and then reverse it. Reverse the hinges so it closes up like a flatbed truck. So that kind of seems to be working okay. Ideally, there's a lot better designing on it that I wanted to do, but this was just kind of like a concept for the time being. Alright, so if you imagine having any rover on the bottom on the platform, we'll bring up the piston, and once it hits flush with the top platform right here, we could drive it right in and then connect it to a connector or something like that, so the rover itself doesn't move along. Alright, so we're about there and it's kind of flush. It's definitely going to be able to ride through this, I would think. I hope so, at least. If not, then that means I just got to add in more armor blocks on the top layer, which is going to be a little bit heavier, but it's going to be giving it a little bit more height this way. So I actually want it to be a lot more flushed with the mobile base itself. So if I were to reverse our hinges, I didn't really want this gap that's going to create, which is one big cube block of a gap. What I really wanted to do is kind of be flush with it, and I think I know how to do that. It is basically bringing this hinge down one and then making these armor plates empty so it can be flushed under there. And the reason I went 3 hinges is to carry some weight. I don't think it necessarily needs it, but just in case I put 3. Maybe I'll test it later on to see if I can make it a little more flush, so that with 1 hinge, so that it kind of looks a little bit better. Maybe I could try it now actually. But before we do that, let's hit up that time lapse really quick. So what I think I'm gonna do is kind of remove all this for now and kind of redesign it so that it's more flush to the rover itself, so it's not as tall as this here. So again, I'm using the back of the mobile base like a flatbed, and this is probably the closure of the flatbed. And I don't think I'm gonna get any higher than this, to be honest. Meaning the front. So I'll probably make a smaller bridge here, probably not, depending on the situation. I might bring it up just probably 1 cube more or 1 block more, and that's about it. Because I really don't want to bring it too high, because even if we looked at it on an angle, or let me just go in my spectator mode really quick. As you see here, it is pretty high up, and I think if we put the bridge or a window roughly right around here, that's more than sufficient. So we don't necessarily need it to be that high. I mean, we could technically just put it down here if we wanted to, and just keep the top as a big loading dock area for our rovers and maybe even some drones and ships and things like that. So I do regret making it so big. So that's the biggest problem that I have. I should have made it a lot more compact. I just kind of thought of the wheel-based design, but the top part is really big. So I gotta kind of close it out to make it look a little better. But that's probably going to be for another day. Right now I just want to work on this flatbed platform in the back really quick. And once I get this going to be a little more flush, I think I'll be a little bit more happy with it than I am right now with it. And I could probably put it a little closer to the wall here too. Alright, so I'm just gonna kind of just take out these blocks here. I know I'm gonna drop it. And in the time lapse you did see, or you may have saw, that the first initial thing or hinge system that I created and attached it flung the whole entire piston system right over there with the hoe. If you can see it right there. And it just pretty much, I haven't checked it to see what it looks like, but I'm pretty sure I lost all the parts for it. And that one I used a little more materials, which was a cylindrical column initially. But that all disappeared, so I decided just to test it out with the cubes. In that way. I'm going to do it again with cylindrical columns. And of course, being it more flush, I do need to make it more airtight too. And to do that, I think I have to build around this hinge system that I'm about to make, which is probably a pain in the butt. But I think it's going to have to happen that way. And I think I'm going to stick with 1 piston for now, just to see if it works. If it does work, then great. And if we need to add more pistons or hinges, we can add more later on and attach it correctly without having it flinging it around or away. So what the problem was basically was that my hinges were set up all different. And I hit the attach button. And when that happened, it didn't like it. Clang visited and just said, screw it, I'm out of here. And the hinges just broke the parts off and flung to the sky. And it pretty much dropped like a missile, to be honest. Too bad I don't think you can see it in the time lapse, but that was crazy when that happened. Alright, so the flush piece, I'm thinking, let's build it 1 block here. Let's build it here. So we had to put a hinge system right here. We're gonna break this up as well. So that means I'm gonna build around to make it airtight. This is still gonna be fine. We probably have to block off the whole entire thing, if anything. Alright, so that's that. We'll put the hinge here. Right here. And again, if we need more hinges, we can always apply more hinges later on the side of it. So put one here. Weld this up. I am going to go with the either piping or columns. Squares look a little better for the most part. But I don't know. Maybe we'll just test it out with these blocks first before we go too crazy. So velocity, I'm just gonna change that to 1. In lower limits, I'm gonna put 0 because I don't need it to go anywhere else other than 0 degrees. And I'm gonna put in the rest of these blocks. I think we need about 4 or 5 of these, and then going up 1. And then we'll put our pistons this way. We'll piston this way. and a piston this way. So luckily 2 plus a block is more than sufficient for this type of thing here. And usually for some reason building it this way, the piston head doesn't show up, so pretty much all you gotta do is reverse it, add the piston head when it can, and then reverse it back. Not a big deal, it works perfectly fine. Alright, so we're gonna weld up the rest later, but I think I got it. This is gonna be a little bit more flush this way, so once we put a cube here, or a block here, we could put the armor plating on the side. Yep, that looks a lot better than before, but let me just weld up everything really quickly. Alright, so from the bottom, that's what's gonna look like. It's sticking out a little bit, which is not too bad. So I'm gonna have to wall off this whole area for air tightness, if anything. But let's just see if it actually works. I'm not even sure if it does, because it might get stuck, it might not get stuck, it might get stuck right here. I don't know for sure. So let's see. We're gonna grab the hinge. We're gonna do reverse. We're gonna grab our pistons. Oh. We have to group them in a second, so let's just do this first. Okay, it actually works out pretty well. Huh. Interesting. I think I see an issue, which is that initial block, but it might not be an issue. We'll see. But I think this is going to work out. And if anything, I can connect 2 of these, one on each side, and then connect the armor plating on the outside. I think I might do that actually. Huh. Interesting. I don't know why I couldn't think of this earlier when I was building it initially, but what I want to do for another test, just to make sure it works out okay, and it should, because the block worked out okay, this block here. So let's put a armor plating here. We could use other blocks, but I think the armor plating works best for this type of scenario here. Alright, so we're going to add that. We can add a little bit more just for a quick little test. And we can add it all the way over here. And like I said before, I can add a second one here with a hinge. And then connect it to the pistons later as well. I might need to use a merge block for that though, to get that all connected. So for an example, or right over here. So to mimic that, we're gonna have a block here, and then we could put the pistons this way. I think I could put a piston head and attach it. Maybe, maybe Build Vision's gonna be the way to do that. I'm not sure, but we'll see what's gonna look like. All right, so we're gonna reverse this, and it is a little, oh, okay, so it's stuck a little bit now. Not sure what's stuck on. It might be this block here. Yep, it was that block there, and the rest of it is working fine. Okay, that's not too bad. You know what, my pistons, let's just add them to be shared inertia. We definitely need that to happen. I'm gonna name these topside pistons, and the hinge itself we'll name topside hinge as well, or we group it that way, but we'll leave it as that. So we reverse this, same as before, it goes down pretty smoothly and flush with the system itself, and it's looking decent. Okay, so that's not too bad. A little bit better than the initial build of it. But I think what I want to do next is see if it can connect it to another piece here. How am I going to do that? If we built another piece, I can't build it opposite, so that's the problem. I might be able to put a head here, a piston head, right here, and then attach it with a piston. Maybe. I'm not sure. But we'll find out now. So we'll take this off, take these off. Let's just make sure I am, yeah, block away. Okay, so we're gonna take this off. And there. Now we're gonna add, let me just get rid of this for now. I'm gonna add the hinge here, which we gotta figure out which direction it's under, and we can use that little icon that on the side of it to make sure which is which way. The icon is that right there, that little warning sign or hazard sign. That tells me which direction it's going, so kind of helps out. All right, so we're gonna get some hinge parts. I'm not sure how I'm gonna connect this. We'll find out shortly. Usually I would connect it by merge block or using the hinge part to attach, but I don't know for sure if that's going to be the strat on this part now. Same thing we're going to do is we're going to hit lower limit 0, and where's our, not reverse, but our torque, no, velocity. We're going to do a 1 velocity for now. We're going to do our 1 velocity for now, and we're going to add these blocks here. We just have 4, 5, actually. Oop, I don't know what, just made me jump. Alright, so we put that there. And that's when we're going to put in some pistons now. So let's see how this is going to work out. So we do a piston here, and with build vision, looks like we could attach. So that might work out. So I hope it doesn't clang out, to be honest. Alright, we put a light armor here. We're going to put this thing here. And we're going to put the head there. And moment of truth, we're going to hit attach in 3, 2, 1. It's attached. Okay. I think we are okay for the most part. So these here, the hinge, I'm going to have to group up as well. So this one is the right side, this one is the left side. And these are my top side hinges. Okay. So their settings, I hope they're the same. 1 velocity, 0 lower limit, I think we're good. The piston and everything we gotta fix up as well. So we'll just roll these guys up. And I'll leave them at its default speed, so it's not gonna go too crazy in terms of differences there. So I think it's all connected. I hope it is. I actually never tried to attach the piston head onto a piston before. I think by default it wouldn't allow you to do something like that. Let's see. If we went to our piston, is there an attach? No, there's no attach, but there's a add piston. So build vision, the mod, does help with that in that sense. So useful. Alright, so I'm gonna weld up the rest here on the bottom. And we're done. So everything is nice and flushed. We have the armor panels here. And last I built it 4 high, and I think I still could do it 4 high this way as well. So it's not too crazy in height, and it's not, you know, too bad, and it should hold the capacity of a small rover in that sense. So that's that. I mean, if it could carry just like that, I'll be happy with it, but it's not. So we do need to add a little bit more to this here as well. So we can do, probably want to do it on the bottom, but we can just add one more from the top here. And let's see what it looks like. Ready? In 3, 2, 1. Reverse our hinge. And we are kind of getting stuck here. So maybe we should put cylinders somewhere. Or we should put on the bottom, we should do cylinders. Huh. Was not expecting it to kind of get stuck. But of course we can increase the torque if we need to. Or what we can do is reverse our pistons first. Or not. Looks like we're kind of stuck here. Alright, so increasing the torque helps a little bit, or helps significantly in terms of the hinges. Don't know if that's going to flip my rover eventually or not, but We'll see how that goes. Okay, so we have an issue here where we can't even bring the pistons down. Well, that is because all this is not saved together. Okay, now we should bring it down. All right, there we go. A little bit of issues that I forgot about, and it bring it down. Okay, so this looks really good in the back. Not too bad whatsoever, and it should bring us down close to the tires. That is going to be perfect. Let's see where it's going to end up. Yep, that's very close to the bottom. Actually, that's way more than I want it now. Huh. I think I had it one more block higher before, but we can always change the height or maximum for our pistons. So the hinge itself, I'm a little worried with all this torque. So we bring it down just a tiny bit, we should be okay. Let's bring it to, let's just say flushed to about 40, and hopefully that should be more than sufficient to bring it back into the system, and it's not. So I think it's gonna be better that I use more of a cylindrical. I see a problem here. I think I didn't bring it one block high enough. Yeah, there's an issue here. I don't think I brought it one block high enough, and not sure why I didn't notice it earlier, but that's going to be a problem. So that's why it's getting stuck. So the whole entire thing is a little bit messed up, so let's just bring it in so we can adjust this. So basically what happened is that we're one piston off, or one block off for the piston. Unless this was the whole entire setup that, nope, this was the whole issue I had in the first place, and I didn't notice that. Okay, so this didn't work out at all because we are one block off. But we can fix that with you bringing one block up and having max distance on the piston. That should do it. But this, when it closes, is flushed. But I totally forgot it's not flushed when it's not on there. So we may have to play around with, yeah, I think we have to play around with the maximums here, so we could bring it in and bring it out, whatever the case is. So it has to go at least one block more. So that's going to be a bit of a pain to do, I believe. Actually, no. Yeah, it is, because the bottom's connected. So we're gonna have to do this. Gotta redo this in a bit. So we'll extend it here and then place it up here so we don't lose the hinge, at least. There. Now we do what we did before, and that was take out these pistons and then put the piston head. And I think that's gonna work out a little bit better in terms of connecting it all. Alright, so that's all adjusted. I made it one block further back just a bit. And what it did, it's kind of created to be further back in now, which is not too bad. Actually looks pretty decent that way. But once we bring this all down, hopefully it's going to be flushed. Yes, it looks like it's going to get to the flushed side of things. Which is, a little bit of a clang there. But it looks good. Right here, a little bit of a gap as before, same thing. Again, we can add, you know, a little armor plate or catwalk on top of this. So that way it can kind of climb up a little bit better if necessary. So if anything, we can always add blocks here. Or even a little light ramp if you needed. So again, we can add another block here just to give a little bit more height. But it's not going to be significant in that sense. But yeah, now we're one block up, so I think that's going to be good in terms of the piston height as well, because before we were way below the ground. We might be a little bit higher now, but like I said before, I think the wheel's going to sag down a bit because the whole entire system is pretty heavy, to be honest. So if it gets low enough, that'll be okay. If it's not low enough, we can always add like a half block, but we're looking actually pretty decent. We're just a tad off, but we could do a half block if we need to instead of the armor plates, or just lower the wheels if necessary. But this system's looking decent. It looks a little clang-ish, but not too bad. Of course, we can make it look a little bit better by curving out the top angles of this thing if we wanted to, but for the time being, I think this is gonna work out pretty well. Because once we bring this up, it's just gonna be flushed again, and then we can reverse the hinges, and it's gonna be hidden inside in the top section of it, which is a lot better than what I had initially, minus the issue that we just ran into before. But this is working out pretty well. Now we can just close this up, and hopefully it doesn't clang out. Oh, it's a tiny bit of a clang there because it's touching too close, but it's not too bad. Hopefully it doesn't keep doing that. Maybe I could change the hinge torque a little bit now. Oh wow, why is my hinges so high? I thought I changed it. Nope, they are extremely high. So let's just change this back. I think right around there to do it. Hopefully it still works. Nope, yep. Before the clang, I think, occurred because the block was inside of it. So now it's not. That way it's going to give us a little bit more, less clang in that sense. But it looks like it does need a little bit more torque just to bring it down a little bit more. But we can always, I think we could always extend the pistons first and then bring the hinge. We should be okay. You can always just change it up a little bit, but I think that's going to work out the best way. It could look a little bit better, but we'll leave it as that for now. I think what I want to do here, instead of going crazy with a regular block, I'm going to do a half block for now. So we don't cause any clang or anything catching. And like I said before, probably going to airtight this whole system. So I am going to just separate or close out these holes. So we don't have to deal with that too much. Right, so we're going to get rid of this here. Perfect. And it's looking good. I like it. And we do need to extend that a little bit more. So let's do that really quick. Let's extend our piston first. Then we reverse our rotor. And maybe I can ride with it. Hopefully catch it. Ooh, okay, not good. Ow. That was not exactly ideal, but kind of worked out. Alright, so we're gonna grab our steel plates here. And again, I'm just gonna extend it probably too wide more. So we're gonna grab the armor plates here. I do see another issue with this, and that's of course going to be that once we lay this on the ground, who's to say the ground's going to be perfectly flat? So, not the best system in the world, but should be okay. The initial thought I had from the last episode was actually a crane system, so that piston can come out and grab the rover with a magnetic plate or with a landing gear or whatever the case is, and that should be able to grab the rover and bring it up that way. For some other reasons, or for some odd reason, I just decided to make this one instead. Again, probably not the best thing to do, but it does definitely look a little bit cool. And of course, we're gonna add some buttons to fix this up too. Alright, so we're gonna bring this guy up really quick. And I kind of want to change the piston speed a little bit more. Let's just do -1. It's a little too slow for my taste. Alright, so we'll bring this up. Gets flushed. Perfect. Drive in. We'll bring the piston back down. Reverse it. And then we'll bring our pistons back in as well. Here we go. And we could do all timing blocks for this to fix this up if we need to. It looks like we might need to. Where you see here it's getting caught. But we'll bring this in. And then we'll put the pistons out. Alright. That's going to close up. And this is not looking too bad. It's not as high as it was before. It's slightly almost the same, but it's not too bad. Let's just take a look from afar. Nope, that's not too bad at all. And if we really wanted to, I could just put solar panels instead of the armor plating here. And why I would do that is just to give it some more solar rechargeable power if we had to. So let's just see, panels, solar panels. Is there any way we can utilize this here? So we could put it flat against this way. So yeah, we could definitely put it on and, you know, drive up into it if we have to. But that is, or could be, a decent idea, and it takes up 2. That one, if to have it, it's probably gonna be an odd number. Yeah, it's gonna be an odd number, so we're gonna have to leave the middle alone, I would think. So 1 here, 1 here, 1 here, and then you have 1 here, 1 here. Oh, it's gonna actually look weird. Let's see. 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay, there you go. So your odd number is right there. So we can only put 4 total, and that can give us power. We can put it on the bottom side instead, either one, and at least that works as 2 things: a loader and also a solar panel. So we bring this out, bring it down. Yep, we're gonna be fine. I just kind of want to test out if it will clang out or not when it comes to hitting this wall here. And this storm is coming, or has come, and the lightning is likely going to hit me. Alright, so that looks pretty good. We're a little more flush too, because it kind of gives us a little bit more ramp. So I think I might keep this. It's a pretty interesting idea, I guess. Alright, so I'm going to bring this guy down. I think I should change the hinges to be a little faster too. Let's just say 2 velocity. A little too slow for me. Oh, of course, I got shocked by lightning once again. And because my antenna's on, which I should have kept off. And I hope it could drive decently as well when we drive on top of these solar panels. But there's no way to test that until later. And if it does cause issues, I'm going to put it on the other side if I can. Might not be able to, actually. If I can't, then what I'm going to do is put the armor plating towards this block, and then yeah, it's possible. It's just gotta reverse a little bit of stuff here. So I'm gonna put this here, and at least we have an alternative power source. All right, so that's looking decent. We got an alternative power source. Yep, that's looking okay. Not too crazy. And yeah, so that's perfect. Alright, so that was awesome. I gotta put a button somewhere so I can click on a button instead of having to jump on here. But we'll leave it open for now. And of course we could do a sensor as well, similar to what we did on the bottom section over there. So that's something we definitely need to do. Alright, so one quick thing I wanted to do, and I do want to go back to the economy base to kind of check out what's there, because I kind of forgot what is there, and I should maybe just go back to the video and check it out. But I'm very curious, so I do want to bring my croc here, and I think I'm just gonna drive over there without any issues, hopefully. I don't think I'm carrying anything, hopefully. Yeah, I'm not carrying anything. I should get rid of that ugly looking horn or landing gear in the front so that it doesn't look ugly, but this is a bit tight as well. Should probably extend. Ooh, that was bad. Alright, there we go. Perfect. Alright, so the economy base was over here, and I feel like getting, if I have money, I'll probably pick up. Actually, don't have money, I don't think, right? I have nothing. Perfect. I think most of my money is actually in the base itself. But maybe we could pick up some missions or contracts, and we'll make some money that way. So we can probably do the easy ones where I can hold them instead of connecting a connector to it, and then you know, exchanging parts and components into it. But I just can't recall what was in there, so I must well do some exploration really quickly. Alright, we made it to the economy base, and I think the only way that I'm going to be able to connect with my rovers, I've built a contraption from the back here, the large cargo containers, and connect upwards. You use a couple pistons to do that, so that's not too bad. I might have to do that eventually if I want to move some cargo around to make some funds for any particular reasons. So that might be something we can look into before we finish up our rover and mobile base. Okay, so this is the store. There is no data pads anyways, but there's uranium, but it costs us a whole bunch of money. Alright, so platinum's here as well, so we could buy stuff. We definitely need to do some contracts if we do want to buy anything here. Our contracts are here, and we can look at acquisition, because hauling, we're probably not going to be going to space anytime soon, but we can do like girders. I definitely need to connect into the system itself to pass these things along. See here, girders, 951 steel plates, which I definitely have. Iron ingots, I have. Superconductor, I don't have. Bulletproof glass, I can make. Interior plates. So all this is easy money. I just need to fix up my rover a bit so that we can connect upwards to that connector. I think we should be able to make it too, right? Let's see. It's not too high up, so if we were to go into our rover, we can park like right underneath it, right over here. Or since we're on a hill, probably want to park it right around this way. I can't really see too well, but I think if we park right around here, let's just say, or here, we should have a piston going up, and then we can connect to it. We might have to do several pistons upwards. I think I have a good idea of how to do it, and since it's on a slant, we might need to do a few hinges as well. But of course we don't want to complicate it and put too much on here, and it's going to cause more issues than solving anything. Alright, so there's no data pads, there's acquisitions, which I should just collect now so I know that I can just bring them back. So let's just collect them, because I don't think the acquisition contracts expires like some other contracts. So let's just grab them now, so we don't have to worry too much about it later. We'll grab not all the acquisitions, but we're gonna grab the easy ones. Canvas we can make. Looks like it just changed anyways. We'll accept the canvas one. Thruster components we can't make. Interior plates we'll accept. And silicone wafers we can accept. We missed out on the steel plate one, but it's alright. We can't make these two. A little too much. No bounties, no escorts. Hauling we have that we're not going to be able to do. No repairs. A bunch of searches. Not a big fan of the searches, especially using a rover. If I have a ship, maybe. And ideally do it at night, so you can see the blinking lights of the drone or whatever you need to pick up. Alright, so at least we have that. We'll look at the contracts a little bit later down the line. Alright, know what we do? We can collect our rover. Oh, there's some gold here, I think. I don't really see it. These are craters from when we did Armageddon early on. I think there's there's another abandoned settlement not too far from here as well. It's interesting. Alright, so what we're gonna do is gonna rescue our broken rover. Or not broken, I think it just ran out of batteries, if I'm correct. Yeah, it just ran out of batteries. So we'll take this guy, bring it back, use the parts, or keep it for for later use. It's not the best looking thing in the world. It looks kind of weird, to be honest. What was I thinking when I made this? No idea. Alright, so we're just gonna back up, grab this. Or we'll probably just grab it for parts instead, but I don't feel like welding it right now when I have a grinding pit that I could use. Alright, that was a little too low. Got it. Alright, so I lifted up a little higher than what I thought I could do. That's fine. Sure. We might as well head towards the unknown signal that just dropped. And pick that up since I'm right here too. A little off topic from what I was initially doing. That was creating the pickup spot or loader spot for our rover. But since that is all done, okay, that's not ideal. Okay, so that was all done. We're gonna play around with other things too, just to get a break from making the rover. Alright, so we are back. Do I want to keep this buggy rover or should I scrap it and throw it in a pit? You know what? I think we'll throw it in a pit and end it there actually. So let's head over to the pit section and toss it away. Get our, basic parts back. It's not a significant amount of parts, of course. But we'll bring this guy here. Ooh. Bring it down. Perfect. Oh, drop it. And there we go. Alright, so I think I broke something, so that's unfortunate. We'll leave this guy here. Hit the button. And look at the fireworks here. Woohoo! Alright, so that's a good way to end it. I don't know what flew out over there. But yeah, so that's it for today. Alright, so I hope you guys enjoyed this video today, and if you did, hit that thumbs up, like the video, and if you haven't done so yet, consider subscribing to the channel, hit that notification bell to be alerted of upcoming videos. Feel free to drop a comment down below, and of course, I'll see you guys next time. Bye.